Yeah.
How we doing, Charlie? Okay. Right.
Okay.
Let's get on. We have not been on for a few weeks, so we've probably got loads to talk about. Life gets in the way, as you know, for all of us. But I tell you what, it's a good week to get back into it, I think, Charlie, because there's been quite a bit going on. On
Yeah, and
and
we're
off.
probably gonna have a while before we're back with it's the World Cup, right?
Yeah, it's the World Cup after this week. Yeah, well, the World Cup starts in 2 weeks, but that's the end of the Premier League now. That's it, done until December. And
Yeah.
Liverpool's next game is Man City in the League Cup on the 20th of December. That's the next time Liverpool play. So, and then I think it's the Premier League's on the weekend after that. Then, oh no, your next Premier League is the day after Christmas,
Yeah.
the 26th, which is Boxing Day over here. I know you guys don't have that, but yeah, it's on that day where it comes back. So after this week, it's pretty much not until December. So Liverpool had two good wins, Charlie, in the last week with Spurs and
Yes, I've been excited to see those. Very, very needed indeed. Um,
yeah,
we need to show again that it gave me some comfort with those games, showing that we can that there is quality still there. And at first you start to get worried with all these with the start we've had on whether or not either people are getting too old or they're losing their desire or whatever. I still think there are problems, but I don't think it's a quality problem. I think it's a consistency problem. I think it's a motivational maybe problem. A problem with the tactics of being figured out by other managers. Once sometimes it's almost like the NFL here, where once a team gets if they're doing really well, and once they get beaten, all the other managers start repeating those tactics to beat them again, and using those tactics to pick apart their weaknesses. And I think that was an issue with Liverpool, where people had figured out our system, but what we were doing over and over and over again, and they finally found a way to beat it. So we were getting beaten more often. So, but I think Klopp's made some adjustments with the formation, and a little tweaking here and there, and hopefully, hopefully we have better performances here on out, because you do get worried. Some people are aging. Some people are. Our midfield I think, is the biggest issue right now.
yeah,
But I think
injuries.
at least we're in a better spot than we were like 4 or 5 weeks ago. you
Most,
know.
most definitely. I think the age thing is probably a thing. Definitely teams getting onto how to play against us as well as a thing. He has made them tweaks, which is good. We've seen better results. We've seen that it was a good performance against Spurs. It was a good performance yesterday as well. Um, so, but I thought, yeah, he's made them tweaks, but it's also the injuries as well, isn't it? We've had
Yeah, but it's
some months,
always the injuries. They always have injuries.
but then
It's just,
there's the off field stuff, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? We're not buying players. We're not replacing players. We're allowing the team to get old. We're not keep bringing players in to keep that freshness up. We're only ever we never really have a big net spend. There's never that big massive investment in the squad. You know,
it's, it's, a, it's a tough situation, because I remember a couple seasons ago we were on top of the game, and we also had a bunch of academy players that had shown that we had a bright future and stuff like that. But like this year, what I've noticed, some of those players have not progressed like Curtis Jones.
yeah,
A couple seasons ago, I thought he was going to be awesome, 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 but now he's like a pretty good player. He's not great, definitely not
he's
turning my head anymore.
he's
You know
he's,
that
he's
type.
don't like him when he's in midfield. I just don't like him there. When he's in midfield, he looks awful. He looks out of place. But he played them up a much higher place a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was against now. And he looked a much different player, much more improved player up the top of the field.
When he's up front, yeah.
That's where Curtis Jones needs to be playing, not in the midfield.
Yeah.
Midfield's one of the toughest positions to play. That's why you got to take your hat off to Harvey Elliott, because I think he's been one of the shining lights this season, right from the start to now.
He's definitely coming into his own lately. He's starting to show that maturity a little bit and getting with confidence. Obviously coming into a team as good as ours has got to be pretty stressful to begin with. And it's got to be intimidating for him to be thrown into this team. But now that his confidence is growing, his presence on the field, I think he's getting more of a better grasp of his role, and now his teammates, and he's starting to score, which always builds up your confidence, right? And it builds up your teammates' views of you on the field too. So now it enables him to be a little bit more of a leader type as well. So now he's controlling a little bit more things, and he's taking those chances with the passes or whatnot, and creating more chances like you saw yesterday. And I think if he can keep that up, he's going to be one of the major things that we were hoping with a couple of years ago with our academy. Now he's going to fill in a major role in that midfield. Like he doesn't have the physicality of Henderson, but he definitely has the talent to be in midfield, and he shows that he can run and run and run, and he has the talent to make plays as well.
He's technically very gifted in how he plays. He's got one of them easy on the eye kind of styles, hasn't he? He's not. And what I like about him, he's not scared to show it. He's not scared to give it a go and do it. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how he's got into the team and improved so much over the years. And I can't think of him now not being in the team. I'd much rather have Elliott in the team than not. I think he is just that important, because you say Fabinho, he's not getting younger. Thiago, he's in his 30s. Henderson, he's in his 30s. We need to bring these young kids through now and get them to go. But what I'd like to see, Charlie, is a bit more spending on players. Yeah. We're not spending enough. We're just not spending enough. FSG are just not willing to, stick a good sum of money on the table like other owners are. Now I don't know what news you've got over in the States, but over here at FSG are basically looking at selling. So it's change of ownership.
I had not heard anything about that, but it's not like it's the big thing over here like it is over there. No. The stuff that I hear over here, which is just kind of just ticks me off. They'll try to focus on King James. What's his last name? The basketball player.
Oh, LeBron James.
Part of the ownership and stuff. It's like, I don't care. I don't care if he's a fan. I don't care. He has nothing to do with whatever. I'm not a big fan of him to begin with, but I wish he would just leave everything alone. I wish the media are going to follow. They're going to follow their people that they have that they always follow. And now that he's involved, since he's been involved with Liverpool, it's pretty much like the bulk of what you hear of it over here.
Right. Well, no. Well, what's happened is there's been a document leak now. People are reading into it, like to say, FSG, selling, but they basically released a statement saying something along the lines of, there's been a lot of rumours about Premier League clubs being sold and bought and whatnot. The Fenway Sports Group have received a number of offers, approaches from other people want to be shareholders, and they said they'd never. They would always look. They'd always look at a new shareholder if it was for the best interest of Liverpool Football Club, but they still remain committed. Now, for me, it's a bit of a lot of people took that and over here and said, right, that's it, the club's up for sale. And there's a big debate on it at the moment over here with that. But I see nothing in there that said, right, that's it, the club's got a for sale sign on it. It just said he's willing to listen to offers. And, you know, when you're talking about the money that Liverpool's worth, £4 billion, you know, you'd be stupid not to listen to them offers. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay. But what I like is they're not just going to sell it to anyone. They're going to make sure it's the right owner. I mean, Conor McGregor's put his name in the app for it. He wants to buy them.
Really? Okay.
Conor McGregor tweets out saying, "Oh yeah, real big chance," something like that. But basically putting his name in the app to buy the club. And I thought, bloody hell, I know you're worth a few quid, mate, but you haven't got £4 billion sat in the bank. There's no way. So it's going to be, for me, it'll be someone like a Man City kind of owner that you're going to get coming in to buy the club at that kind of money. You know, either that or a consortium like it just happened with Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. I'm just keeping it. I'm taking it all with a pinch of salt at the moment. You know, I haven't seen a for sale sign go on the club. I can see why people would take that from that statement of the club being up for sale, because Jamie Carragher's been talking about it, all the media's talking about it. So there is something in it, but it's a case of what does it mean, you know, and are they really going to sell? Are they going to get the offer that they want, and from the people that they like to sell it to?
And you know, the media, they just want to create something to talk about just for the heck of talking about it too, even though most of the times it has no relevance and no truth to it. Again, yeah, like you said, you would be stupid not to entertain. If someone made an offer and you listen to it, doesn't mean anything though. It doesn't mean he's selling, doesn't mean he's looking, they don't need to look, they don't need, you know, they've done very well. They like with the Red Sox, they like to establish a brand, and they like to keep it functioning very, very well, which, you know, the Red Sox are fine. You know, you're not going to win the championship every year, but they realize that. But it's still considered, you know, the Red Sox are still considered a top baseball team organization, at least.
Yeah, I think
they're going to do the same with Liverpool. I don't think they're going to sell. They'd be idiots. So
yeah, you're right. You're right. You know, they have a model and they keep to it. Liverpool are on very good, solid financial grounds in terms of we fund the club funds itself. You know, they don't need the money to go in by the owners. We've had one stadium expansion already completed in the main stands. You know, we're getting another one at Anfield Road End. That's going to push us up to over 60,000 capacity. Really, realistically, we could really do with a 70,000 seater stadium, but 60,000, it's the area as well. How much you have to go into all that, but that's not cheap. They're not cheap projects, and it's the club that's funding that. It's not the owners. The club's funding that through its own revenue. You know, they've massively improved the commercial prowess of Liverpool, and that's something that we really did lack. We had the David Moores, who was the owner. You know, he was a local lad. His dad done well, you know, local millionaires and stuff like that. But they didn't have the commercial nous, if you like. It went very commercially when the Premier League formed, if you like. And Sky got involved in 1992. The game got very, very commercially touted, because before that, it wasn't really a commercial sport. You know, but then you had the clubs like Man United who just linked straight onto it and went, right, it's commercial, let's get the commercial model right. And they got the commercial model right at Man United. And that's where Liverpool lacked. And the size of Liverpool, they really missed out on them first 10, 15 years, 20 years of the Premier League, because we just didn't have the commercial nous to know what to do, how to get the brand out there and create money just by sticking your name on stuff, you know. Yeah. But that FSG have improved that immeasurably. You know, we've got a massive revenue now. You know, we can afford these players and all these high wages. But I think what we need now is this transition period to be as small as possible. You know, we need to get these players in, and if they have to use the 2 windows to get them in, they'll have to use the 2 windows. They can't get it all done in one window. They're going to have to keep bringing players in. So in January, I'm hoping to go out and get this Jude Bellingham, this young lad who's playing over in Germany at the minute. Need to go and get these young players in now and get them in the team bedded in. Because, like you say, our team's getting older. It's not getting any younger. You know, when we won
when you really think about it, though, I don't think it's a huge age issue. Like you said, the injuries have had an effect on us this year, especially with the younger players. You know, like Luis Diaz or whatever. He's a big miss. Off the field. I loved when he first came in. He was a big ball of energy and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that when he comes back, I think looking at the defensive line, there's a lot of depth there. Looking at the offensive line now, you know, with Nunez, Diaz, Jota, and you know, Salah's probably got another couple of years. Firmino, he's almost out the door, I think, but he's still producing. He's still doing well. I think we only need like 1 or 2 more forwards in the line that are young, but that will progress within the next couple of years, and then replacements for, you know, Fabinho and Thiago, Henderson, and Milner. We need replacements. So I think the bulk of it is in the midfield that we're missing in 2 years to come.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Forwards. I mean, talking about forwards, Nunez is starting to click. He's starting to look a much better. He's looking like he's getting used to the pace of the Premier League now. He scored a couple of good goals yesterday. He scored the second goal. He scored was a type of goal that we had lacking in our team. A proper goal where he's sniffing out the chance and slides and gets the goal.
Yeah.
You know, and he's only 23 as well, though, Charlie. He's only young himself.
I think he's been watching the Haaland highlights, right? He's like, I gotta do that.
I've got to start scoring goals. He played well yesterday doing this. I was impressed with him yesterday. It always takes time for them to settle in the Premier League, especially when they come from a league like a slower playing league like Portugal and Spain and that. You know, if they come from Germany, they don't have that much of a change really, because the German league is it can be just as quick and as ferocious. It's not as quick and as ferocious as the Premier League, but it's nowhere near as slow and as dull as the other leagues in Europe, you know.
Yeah.
So not surprised Haaland's come in and settled in pretty quick. He's a world-class player anyway. He was going to do that anyway. You know, it just took Nunez a couple of months to get used to it. He always looks like he's got a yellow card in him as well, though, Nunez, with his attitude. You know, he's like, calm down, mate. I know you're 23, but come on. You just concentrate on your game. But
they have to remind, I think he's the type that they have to remind him every like 2 or 3 games to say, listen, do you remember the red card you got? You know, we don't want that happening. Reset it in your brain, because you got to tone it down again, you know. But they got to remind him, I think, because I think as he starts scoring and as he starts getting a little bit more, you know, brash again, he's going to be instigatable. Like, if that's a word. You know, they're going to start trying to instigate him into a card or something, you know?
Yeah. I don't mind him having a bit of an attitude on him. In fact, I kind of like it. I like it when players.
Oh yeah, I like attitude. It gives us a bite, you know.
In the right way, you know. So
you got to be smart about it. Yeah. You don't want to ever cost the team.
Yeah, infuriate the other team. Don't infuriate yourself. Don't let them. You infuriate the team. You know, a bit like what Richarlison does, because I don't think anyone infuriates me like Richarlison. Like, but that's another conversation.
I had a question.
I think he's because, and like I say, Diaz, we're missing Diaz. You know, he's a massive miss. He's had a good season. He's been one of the shining lights as well this season. And Firmino, I think Firmino this season, he's like the Firmino of old. He's getting in on the goals, getting in the assists. Like, he's getting involved in everything. The goal he scored yesterday was a great goal. You know, little flick of the head, back and off it goes. I thought,
I was just disappointed how he skied that penalty shot yesterday. He put it over the net. I was like, come on, dude, what are you doing? This is like 10-year-old stuff. Put it in the net at least, put it on the net, it's skying it over the net. It's whatever. So what happened to Anthony? He was supposed to be this big midfield help, but then I haven't heard anything forever on the guy we brought in for the midfield, right?
Arthur.
Arthur, okay.
Brazilian lad. Yeah, no, we got him in to cover for the injuries that we're suffering, and then he got injured. Yeah, that's going to summarize.
Well, that brings up the question: is our training is it too insane, too intense?
There's a bit of that, isn't there? Because if you remember when Klopp first come in, they all just started dropping like flies, didn't they? Because they just weren't used to So I think it depends on the players, doesn't it? But because Nunes has come in, he's on them training regimes, he's not got injured or anything like that. There's other players. It's probably down to the player as well, how the body can cope with it. But look at what it does for players. I mean, that kind of training. I'm not saying it's pure down to the training, but his attitude as well. James Milner, I think he's 36 now. He's still playing. And I don't fear when his name goes on the team sheet. I still like him being on there. It's ridiculous. He'll play till he's 96. He'll just keep going. He's like the
I know. When he was covering for Trent or all these other positions he's covering for, and he does a tremendous job. He'll
every time.
It's like a world-class showing, and it's like, holy cow, you can depend on him in so many different ways. I would keep him on. I would keep him on until he's 40 if he wants, as long as he's keeping up with the training and stuff like that. Heck, man, he's a tremendous asset to have on the team. Because
tell you what, if anyone can play at that level till the 40 into the 40s, it's going to be him. It's just he is Mr. Consistent. He's just consistently at that level. He just sits at that level all the time. That's where he is, and he just fit as hell. He just runs and runs and runs. The guy will probably do a marathon a day for a month. He's probably that fit.
He's got the smarts to be able to play all those different positions. He knows what his role is in each position. It's really, you don't get that much nowadays at all. The sense of a position that he's in for that day.
Yeah.
It's really it's a real big asset to have.
Definitely.
It's funny. I love watching. I follow whenever he's posting on social media or whatever. Boring Milner stuff is pretty funny.
No, he's good.
He's. But I like. Yeah, I like him as a person. Hopefully someday he's a successful manager too, because I can see him as being a successful manager.
Possibly. He could be one of them players where he decides he's retiring rather than the game decides he's retiring, if you know what I mean. Because normally it's like you get to a level, they get to an age, and they start dropping down in the standard, don't they? They'll start going like, they can only play at this level, and then they go down.
Yeah.
I don't want him to do that. I'd like him to retire at the top where he is. I think he deserves it. He's had one hell of a career. Hopefully we can get him another piece of silverware this year, but we'll see. I don't see it being the Premier League now. I think we're too far off that now.
For this season, it's not happening.
Yeah, no.
We have all the other cups that we're still in. So
yeah, but we got the European Cup, got the FA Cup and stuff like that. But I'd like us to make a real good tilt on that European Cup again this year and see if we can win that. I mean, if you listen to the media over here, they do hate Liverpool. They just hate us. The media over here just does not like Liverpool at all. So, you'll have the pundits come out as soon as Liverpool are on a bad run. That's it. They're not even good enough to get in the top four. So we've had the likes of Rio Ferdinand come out and say, now, the only three I can bank on the top four is Arsenal, Man City, and Man United. The fourth one, he doesn't know. Maybe Newcastle. Liverpool wasn't even in the mention. They hate us. They absolutely hate us. Maybe it's because we booed the national anthem. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the media is pathetic all over the world. And again, they're just they're just serving their own agendas.
Of course they are.
And Liverpool is, I'm not a master of what the mindset is over in Liverpool, but my take on Liverpool is they speak their mind and they don't give a shit what other people think about what they think about them. They're going to speak their mind. They're going to do their thing, and that in itself is against all the media people. So it just ticks them off and then makes them an enemy of the media.
It does, and that's it, Charlie. Your mum's a Scouser. Do you know what I mean? So your family's from Liverpool. You know what the people are like. We are very much. We believe in a certain thing, and we'll tell you straight. No, you're wrong. Oh, yeah, you're right. We're straight down the middle with people, and I think people like that sometimes, particularly the media, and stuff like that. I mean, the booing of the national anthem. There's a few reasons why that gets done. There's a good number of very good reasons of why that's done.
Yeah.
You had the shutting down at the managed decline of the city in the 1980s by the then Margaret Thatcher's Tory government.
Yeah.
You then had the cover up of Hillsborough.
Yeah.
Can't have the police blame for this. It had to be the fans, and there was a big agenda on that. And then you have people like me who are more like a Republican. They don't want the head of state to be chosen by birth. They want to be able to choose who the head of state is by an election. So there's a few good reasons. The predominant one though is the Hillsborough thing and the managed decline of the city in the 80s. That's the big one. They're the two big main reasons of why the English national anthem gets sung. You've also got a lot of people in the city who don't really identify as English, Charlie. They don't. They just identify themselves as Scouse, and that's it, full off. But obviously, it's not a recognised state of a country anywhere in the world other than in Liverpool. No one ever recognises it as being that.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that, and there's a bit mixture of everything, and it's been going on. We've been booing the national anthem since the 1980s, Charlie. That's a simple fact. Whenever we got to a final, the national anthem has always been booed. It's just that now the media's latched on into it since we were in the two finals last year, and really took with it and really made a real big agenda on us not singing the national anthem, booing the national anthem. And they just blew it up into something that it's all Liverpool. They're wrong. They're wrong for doing that. It's disrespectful. Booing the national anthem while Prince William's there and stuff like that. And it's like, well, like Clough come out and says, well, why don't you try and understand why they're booing? There's got to be. He didn't understand it, but he said we need to understand. We need to ask the people who boo why they boo. And it's as simple as that. But it's straight away. No, to people from Liverpool. No, it's their fault. No, and they just had an agenda against us then from that moment. But it's been going on we've been doing it from the 1980s. I don't know why it's now, 40 years later, that it's now being made to be a bigger thing.
You're bucking the New World Order trend. Shame on you. Fall into line like the other sheep. No, we don't want to hear you guys talking up, all this rebellious stuff. You fall in line. That's the thing.
Seriously, so getting in place. Well, they're talking to their own people, because if we're anything from Liverpool, we're stubborn and we stand by our values and we won't move from them, and that's it. Just that's as simple as that. And it's best to come and talk to us to find out what it is and try and work through it, rather than try and throw mud at you all the time. But
yeah.
So as soon as Liverpool are on a bad run, that's it. The mud gets slung in the media and stuff like that. And it's clear as day. It's blatantly obvious what's going on.
What did you think about our draw in the Champions League?
No, Real Madrid again. It's like, oh my God, again.
It's
But
almost like boring, you know? It's like, come on, we keep on getting the same teams almost, it seems like, all the time. But
and you want to talk about talking about agendas and conspiracy theories? Here's another one for you. Real Madrid have won so many European Cups, right? And they won that European Cup last year through sheer luck, because the amount of teams that absolutely rolled them over. We rolled them over in the final. City rolled them over before that. Chelsea rolled them over. But they kept getting through. So I'm
yeah,
like going, is there something to play here? You know, UEFA's golden boy of Real Madrid, you know, got to keep
yeah,
them. Yeah, but no. We got Real Madrid, but we're at home first, which irks me that. I prefer this to be home
yeah.
because you've got you know the result is the first leg and the crowd will get behind them. Magical atmosphere. But I just think we just do it in the first leg, just put them out of the game in the first leg. You know,
Hopefully, yeah.
that's not going to be played now until after Christmas now, isn't it? So it's after Christmas that we play Real Madrid.
Really.
Yeah, so hopefully this World Cup might be coming at a good time for us, Charlie. You know what I mean? We've got about 6 weeks off. A lot of our players aren't going, so Salah isn't going.
Really?
No, Salah. Well, Egypt aren't in it. Egypt didn't qualify, so
Oh, good.
Salah's not going. Yeah, that makes up and all. Firmino's not going. Diaz won't be going because he's injured.
Yeah.
Trying to think now.
Nunes and Argentina must be going, right?
Hey?
Or Nunes is going with
Nunes is going with Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Van Dijk going with Holland. I can't remember who Matip plays for now. Oh,
Croatia? Is Matip? No.
Oh, he's not Croatia. Hang on, I'm gonna just Google this now.
Well, is Gomez playing?
Gomez will probably go, but I don't think he'll play.
Okay.
Cameroon. I thought it was Cameroon. Yeah.
Cameroon. Okay. That sounds better. Yeah, I didn't think it was. I knew it began with a C.
Yeah, I knew it was a C. I just didn't want to say Cameroon before I checked it up. It is definitely Cameroon, no. But Matip will be going because Cameroon's in. Oh no, is Matip going? No, I don't know. We'll have to look at that. I know Cameroon are in the World Cup. Holland are in the World Cup, so Van Dijk will be going. Alisson's going with Brazil. Fabinho is going with Brazil. Thiago.
That's not a huge concern for me, anyways. You know, because we have Gomez and Konate and.
This is it. That's all. Trent's going.
Flock of birds over here. That's just. It's the big crane bird. They're like 4 feet tall. It's like this.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You can hear that?
Always stood next to the lakes, aren't they?
Keep it down.
But yeah, so we've got a few players not going. So I'm thinking this could be a good thing for Liverpool. This, you know, we could get back into it after the World Cup and be really reinvigorated. You know, I know Klopp's taken the players who aren't going over to Dubai during that period for a break and respite and that, and get some playing time over there or training time. I think what the important thing is for the players who aren't going is to just keep on top of that fitness, keep that fitness going, because we can't afford to have a point of pre-season where I think some of the teams might. Now that's it, you know. So I'm looking.
Usually, Klopp will usually schedule some fitness games, if you want to call them. You know, he'll just schedule something like that. You know, with some lower league team just to keep the fitness up, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's that match sharpness. You know, you can get your fitness up, but you got to have that match sharpness. It's a different thing. You can train all day long and keep your fitness, but you're going to lose your match sharpness. So you need to be. I think they need a few games, because what I don't like about it with Trent is he's going, but he's not going to be playing. Gareth Southgate just does not pick him. He's going to make the numbers up. I'm surprised Trent has actually bought into it and gone. You know, I think he should have just gone, you know what, do what Carragher did and just went, you know what, I've had enough. I'm done. You know, but I get it. He's young. He wants to play in the World Cup, so it's the only chance he's got is to go with the England team with this manager Gareth Southgate, who just hasn't got a clue. You know,
Yeah,
he just
I
doesn't.
get that.
So yeah, a few games in between now and Christmas, and that'll be good. Keep the match sharpness going, and then we just hit it straight off from the 26th of December straight, and just see it as a whole new season. You know, just forget the last couple of months because they've been an absolute nightmare. You know, we've had some real horror shows and real bad performances and some real horrible, results. I know the last two games we've got the good results, but I'll be honest with you, even the performance at times yesterday, I was thinking if this was a better team we were against, we're getting a good couple of goals shipped past us because Alisson had to come to the rescue on a few occasions yesterday again.
Yes, he did. No kidding. I saw those. I was like, they're still we're still getting a major chances against us.
We need that break. I think it'll become a good time. Come back next and just let's see if we can just kick on from there. You know, get back into the top four. I'm not stupid. We always challenge for the title, but if we can get towards a sniff of the title challenge, that's great. But I'm not expecting it. What I'd like to see is when we come back is a real push. And yes, do much better than the Premier League because that's our bread and butter, and that's what we need to be doing better. We need to get winning that title again. We can't just have one title out of all this good work that we've been doing, just one. So I'd like to see.
I start to wonder if they should start transitioning to like a Gomez Kanate team up in the back and start phasing out Van Dijk because I think Van Dijk is. I don't know if it's arrogance or whatnot, but I think he's not as good as he thinks he is anymore.
He's lost a bit this season. He's lost a bit of his edge, and it is noticeable. Is it catching up with him? Do you know? I don't know. The thing I've got with Gomez and Kanate is Gomez can be really, really good on his day, but he can also be really, really awful as well. He can be, one of the worst defenders in the league on his day. I think it was.
Yeah, but if you start making him the main focus and the main thing, I think there's a chance there that he reaches that next level because he knows he's not the underling of Van Dijk anymore. He knows this is a chance for him to be the leader, and I think that can do wonders to a psyche of a player, and I think that might be what he needs to put forward. And he's definitely younger enough, and he's got the experience now, and we know he has the quality when he's up for it. He definitely has it. And again, it might be a simple thing that Van Dijk's holding him back, maybe because he relies on Van Dijk too much in there. But Van Dijk's getting up there, and I think I don't think the youth. If we put in the youthful, the two younger guys back there, I think it'd be a good thing to start transitioning them in. Put it that way, because Matip and Van Dijk. Again, they're getting up there, and I think people are. It's almost like the formation thing, where people are starting to learn Van Dijk's weaknesses a little bit better, and what he's. And so I think, at least with the youth, with Gomez and Kanate partnership, they at least would have, I think, a little bit more speed and a little bit more strength. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that with Van Dijk, I think one big thing I've noticed with him this season, he's lost that like a half a yard of pace. He's lost that because he was a fast defender, Van Dijk. So I think he's getting caught in behind more often this season than he has done in the past, simply because he's just lost that little bit of pace off.
He's lost the pace, but I think he's lost some of the basics. I just keep thinking back to that game where Milner just let him have it time after time after time because he wasn't stepping up to the player or wasn't doing his basic job anymore. And I was so happy to see Milner in his face saying, "You gotta do the basics. You got to step up to the people, don't just let them shoot. And he was well deserved, and I'm glad Millen did that. Hopefully Van Dijk took it to heart. But I think as you get up there, you get a little bit older, you get a step behind, and you start getting a little bit more lazy, and you start thinking, you start pointing instead of doing,
So you got to start better. You got to get that half a yard back to your thought, to your trainer thought. You seen that with the likes of Carragher. He done it. He could read the game very well. So he was never the fastest of defenders anyway. Carragher, he was, he was a lumbersome in his pace, but he had the football and knowledge, the nous to know, right, if I go there, I'm going to get caught out, but if I stay here, I'm going to be all right. He had that he could read the game. I think that's what Van Dijk needs to start getting into is not relying on that pace so much all the time. You're going to need half a yard in anticipation. So gain your half a yard back by your anticipating the game better. But yeah, we can get we are going to have to move away from Van Dijk and Matip over the next couple of seasons. That's without a doubt, because they are in the 30s now. I think the two of them are in the 30s now.
Yeah.
So it's a case of, well, okay, Gomez and Konate is definitely the future. Gomez is just a little bit too inconsistent for me at the moment. He needs to get that consistency in his game.
Yeah.
If you can find that consistency, then yeah, we've got one hell of a central pairing again. And I think they could play for the next 6-7 years. You know what I mean? That could be a real thing. The next 6-7 years, it's them two. I think that's what we need, and that is one of the most important parts of a pitch. That is your two centre halves. Your two centre halves, your defensive midfielder, the spine in the team. Two centre halves, central midfield, defensive central midfield, creative central midfielder, and attacker. That's your spine. That's what you need in your team.
Another player that I think gets a little bit neglect is Phillips. How many times did he step up for us a few seasons ago when we were devastated for all those injuries? And he was a wall back there. He was a rock solid. He won so many headers. He was bandaged up. He was a warrior, and now you don't see him again. It's just it's sad that someone who put everything on the line for the team, and he had really good results, but then now he's again third string. It's just like, is there no? That's it. Did he play the other day in the Caribou Cup? I'm not sure.
I didn't see the game. I don't know.
I can't remember. I remember seeing him recently, but it's just not enough, I don't think. Hopefully he can step up over the next couple of years too. Because he had the results, even though maybe he doesn't show it in practices enough or something. Maybe that's why he's down the list of choices. But
we're not seeing what's going on in training.
Yeah. But he's able to step it up, and he's a fighter. So
he's a proper old-fashioned centre half. He stick his head in where others wouldn't. One of them. Real brave person. Like, you don't know what he's doing in training. He might not be doing it in training, Charlie. He might not be performing.
Yeah.
And the manager can only select on what he's seeing on the training pitch. Really, he can't go.
It's got to be something like that.
But you're really paying pause. I'm going to base it on what you did in the game 3 months ago. I don't think the manager can afford to do that. It's his job on the line if he starts doing them kind of decisions. He needs to be going off what you're seeing on the training pitch. But yeah,
I think we'd have him as a viable backup when injuries start popping up in the defensive line, anyways.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Right. Trying to think of what else there is to talk about Liverpool on.
Again, I was pretty shocked yesterday when I was checking the schedule. I was trying to set up my team for my fantasy league team for next week, and I saw like, what? They're not playing till like December 26th. I was like, what the heck's going on?
I know.
I was like, oh, World Cup. Come on, World Cup in freaking November.
So I think the States are in the same group as England, aren't they? The States in the same group as England.
Yeah, I think we are, which is great.
And,
I mean, come on. Yeah, I vote for both of them. Yeah.
so, yeah, Group B. Wales are in it as well, which is lovely. Yeah, Wales, Iran. It's England,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Iran. Then your first game's against Wales. Have you got everyone going that you'd like to be taken with you, or have you got injuries that have come up in the?
I haven't been following that too much, obviously the one that's everyone looks to is Pulisic,
Yeah.
and there's a few others now that have shown some promise, but I don't expect them to go too far,
Yeah,
you know.
I always remember the States in the 90s having a half decent team,
Yeah,
La
we're
La.
okay, but we were never top 4 or 5. It's just, we were always like that little spunky type of team when we were at our best, you know. But then it's just eventually you meet someone that you meet up against a side that actually has quality, and you get ripped apart. And
Mm.
that it always seems like we're always on that like the Panama Guinea level type of thing, where it's just that type of group, where it's like the group
It's
below the.
it's mad because if you look at it, your women's team, it's your women's football is big over in the States,
Yeah,
and you're a
it
Wales,
was.
you're
It's
women,
flipping a little bit now, but
right?
I'm saying it was a lot more dominant, but I think they're slipping a little bit as of late. Um, I think other people have followed the U.S. model, and they've definitely come up, like even like England's national team, and
Yeah.
I think they've done doing.
On the European Championships.
Yeah,
They're putting the men to shame, the women over here at the minute.
yeah.
But yeah, I always think if the game of football was bigger than what it is in the States, the size of your country, I think you'd win a couple of World Cups, no bother. I think, if the popularity of it grew. But I know the kind of reputation football's got over in the States. It's a very
It's
low.
the problem. I think the issue is in over in the States. Okay, you have a lot of football supporters, but they're for players that are playing in the Premier League over here. They're international players that they're backing up, and most of them are not in the Major League Soccer. So it doesn't bring it. It doesn't. It's like England, right? You have every little town has its own club, and it's built up from that way. It's like you build that. It's ingrained within you. Whereas here, it's like it's nothing like that. We don't have, like, our town doesn't have a football club that you can go down to the stadium and watch them even at the lower levels or whatever. You have like youth soccer, but those are parents bringing their kids, and then all of a sudden it's a college level maybe, but that's not the same as a club,
Yeah.
and the whole system is different.
Yeah.
So it doesn't instill the same loyalty, the same energy that you guys have. So it's like definitely different, but we do have tons of people that love the sport. But again, they're watching the Premier League. They're watching Germany or the other leagues around and it's just a totally different animal. And the only way they're going to change that is, I think, develop a system like you guys have or something like that. And I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well,
But yeah, I think if they were to have that type of system, yeah, they'd be finding the talent and developing the talent a lot more earlier, then we'd have a chance. You know, because yeah, we're a big country and we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of people from all over the world, you know, different uh, uh, nationalities or whatever that live here, and they have the, you know, and it's just a totally different setup. So I think that's going to be working against us for a long, long time. Lucky for the rest of the world, I'm saying, because again, I think if we ever did get our act together, then we'd be a force.
I think so. I
think
definitely.
that's. I don't even see a way getting there. They have to change the whole mentality of the country, which I don't think is happening. Or you know, they're into football and baseball. I mean, our football, which you don't even play with your feet. It's just our football is like the lamest football. It should be handball.
I know. I've never understood it. And there was a good picture I seen once, and it said football. It said egg. It pointed to the American football. It said egg, and it pointed to the football actually being kicked at foot. You know what I mean?
No, it's just idiotic. I don't know. It's just.
But no, it's for me. I think it's you can have as many sports in a country as possible. I don't think it because me. I'll watch all different types of sports. You know, I'll watch the cricket. I'll watch a bit of baseball. I'll watch a bit of NFL now. I like to watch that. You know, not so much into the basketball. It's something that I just can't get into. But it's each to their own. But you're not. What I'm trying to say is, you don't ever just watch the one type of sport. You'll have your favourite sport, of course you will. You know, you'll have your favourite sport you like to watch.
Yeah.
You know, I like to watch rugby. Rugby's a great game. You know, I like watching that.
I wish we had more cricket over here. I mean, I would love to learn more about that because that's a totally confusing game to me. But I think I see myself. I would watch that once in a while. You know, the cricket. I would like to watch that. Just like I love watching like whenever the Olympics on the curling.
Yeah.
On the ice, you know. I love watching it for some reason. It's probably the most boringest game in the world, but I still like watching it. It's almost like ice bocce, you know, or it's fun.
This is a thinking man's game. It's one where you've got to think and outwit your opponent because you know. You know, you only get so many balls to bowl at them, and you only get so many balls bowled at you. You've got to score as many runs as you possibly can. And as the fielding team, you've got to set your players up. You know, you know the team up so that it makes it harder, and it all depends on the type of batsman that's on the wicket. You know, is it a batsman that likes to hit it long? Is it someone who likes to go short on the leg? You know what I mean? And that depends where you're going. If you're going to go inside, outside. Once you get into it and understand what it is, it's an absolutely fascinating game to watch because it's just a lot of people stood on a field, and I'm just looking at you think I'm just watching people stood on the field talking to each other, but no, you actually watch them where they move and look at where they position themselves. I'm surprised it's not, you know, because if you think of the NFL as well, the NFL's a thinking man's game as well. It's all about your plays, where you're setting up, how you're going to get through. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of that going on. So it's that once you get used to the rules and how it works, it's actually a fascinating game. You know. I mean, the Australians are just unbelievable at it. They just play that game at a different level to everyone else. You know what I mean? England have the moments and play well, but the biggest game in cricket is probably the Ashes between England and Australia. It's something that happens every couple of years. I like watching that. But yeah, like I say, having all them sports in your country shouldn't inhibit the fact that you can get football up and running in the States. And if you've got it up and running, watch out the rest of the world because I think you'll win a few World Cups. You know. Let's put it this way: I think the World Cup will spend more time on your continent than it will in ours. You know, because you've got the likes of Brazil, who are always a force to play with. You know, they always great players. To any of you guys, you know, but I think it'd spend more time over there than it does anywhere else. But
our only chance of developing our players is in other leagues. You know, I don't think it's going to happen in Major League Soccer. That's why they go over to the Premier League, they go over to Germany, they go over to these places that actually have uh, such a higher level caliber player that they're learning from, and then hopefully they come back but you can still have the best, like Pulisic, but he's just one person. And if you have these guys that are playing in all these different leagues, they could all be great, but then they got to come back and they got to have that coercion. They got to have or they got to be able to play as a team. So that's another totally different thing altogether. So we're way far away from being World Cup contenders, I think.
Yeah, do you not try and have many friendlies with other teams? Try and play against the best teams. Because over there, you got the likes of Brazil there, which is not far from you. You got Argentina. It's not a big trip.
And we play. I think whenever we're qualifying for the World Cup, it's like we play Mexico, Panama, and all these teams that are nothing. They're not England. They're not Germany. They're not. Do we even? I don't even think. Do we even play against Brazil in the run up to the World Cups? I don't recall that.
You're in a different qualifying group. So I think you're in that qualifying group, Charlie. I think you'd struggle to even get in the World Cup, to be honest with you. So you've got the South
America getting the World Cup. I could put a team together.
You've got to play against the likes of Canada and stuff like that, and the teams around here.
Oh yeah, we had Canada too. I think they won the group. I'd be interested to see how they do.
They in the World Cup.
Huh?
Canada. Yes, it's in Group F. Oh,
I'm sorry, getting bombed by spiders coming down. What's going on here?
Canada's in Group F with Croatia and Morocco.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, Croatia and Morocco. Yeah.
Well, they have I would think that's pretty soft for them.
Yep.
No, I'm good, thanks. Appreciate it though. My daughter's up.
No.
She's eating all my.
Oh, come on.
She's eating all my. We love getting the what is the McVitie's, the chocolate covered digestive. She's eating all my cookies. She's eating my biscuits.
Yeah, chocolate digestives, best ever. Best ever. The milk ones and the dark chocolate ones.
I like the milk ones better, actually.
There's no Pop-Tarts left, so I don't have other breakfast.
We'll have to go shopping.
Yeah.
Right. She's eating my biscuits because there's no Pop-Tarts left, she says. So.
Just don't stick them biscuits in the toaster, right?
I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Right, we'll call it a day there, Charlie. I'll just take us offline. I don't think anyone's watching, but if you're watching on the repeat, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.